Hey, well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Deb Sofield, and you're listening to my weekly show called Encouragement for Your Life. Many of you know I'm a national speaker and trainer and coach, and I help people find their voice and learn to use it. I'm also a conference speaker, so if your organization is having a national conference and you need a keynote speaker, I would love to be a part. You can find me at debsofield.com. You can also go to Amazon and find any of my books. I've got a number of them out there: Speak Without Fear, Perfecting Your Platform, Encouragement for Your Life. Just go to Amazon, type in my name, Deb Sofield, and all my books will appear. I've got a great message today, and it's this: people aren't always going to be there for you. Friend, that's why you have got to learn to handle things on your own. I'm Deb Sofield. Thanks for spending these next few minutes with me. Let's get started with today's show. I know it seems like an odd title, that people aren't going to be there for you, and that's why you need to learn to handle things on your own. You know what I think one of the hardest things in life is? It's when you have to do things on your own. I tend to work alone. It's the nature of my business, but sometimes I'd like to work with others. I'd like to just hear what they think, or I'd like to see the process of working together to accomplish a goal that may come to a realization of something good and great. I also like the camaraderie that happens when you put good people together to make great stuff. So if you can find your tribe and make good things happen for yourself or others, more power to you. You're blessed. But for most of us, unfortunately, people, well, they're just not always going to be there for you. And that's why you need to learn to handle things on your own. You know, I saw that phrase a while back, and it's a good reminder that sometimes, instead of waiting for someone to help me, I just need to pick up the tools and get to work. And friends, some of you do too. Some of you are waiting for others to help you get going on projects or dreams, on memories, but they haven't come through. So you're still waiting. And my question is, how long will you wait? But here's the bigger question. Why are you giving your power to someone else when you could go ahead and get the job, the project, the dream fulfilled with your own effort? Some listening today really ought to reevaluate the relationship with a friend that's not doing their part. And if it's something you really want to do, well, go ahead and get started. And hopefully you'll meet new friends on the new road to give you the encouragement you need to do what you want, see what you want, and go where you want to go. Or at least make your plans to accomplish your dreams. You know what the good news is? Sometimes when you start, your tribe will follow. I gotta say, one of my many pet peeves in life is when someone says they're going to do something and they don't. It's really hard for me to give them a second chance. Listen, I move at a fast pace, and if someone can't or won't come through as promised, well, I'll find someone else who will, or I'll just do it myself. And I won't put myself in a position a second time to have to lean on them. Well, they didn't come through when they promised. Now, admittedly, that's probably a little harsh. But for me, it's better than me becoming angry or hurt or frustrated because others just didn't come through. Now listen, I can still love these people, but I won't put myself in a position to cause further harm to an already probably fractured relationship. The fact is this: people aren't always going to be there for you. That's why you need to learn to handle things on your own. And that's my theme today. See, today, I want to encourage you to find the strength to do the things that need to be done, or some things that you've been dreaming about doing, or simply make a plan to do the thing you've always wanted to do. But friends, you got to get started now and not someday. Because remember, there is no someday. I have a t-shirt that says Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There is no someday. That's a false idea. So what I need to know from you is, well, what do you need to get done in your life? I mean, really, what needs to be started? Or how about this one? What needs to be finished? Is there a project that's just lying around since last Christmas? Do you need to take the time to update your resume, your will, or your insurance? Do you need to clean out your closet, your car, the attic, the office, the house, the kids' toys? So what is the project that hangs over you that in a sense has caused you to stop? when, with a little effort, you can pick it back up again and finish the job and be done and feel that sense of accomplishment. When you talk to professional organizers, they'll tell you that within hours of completing a long-standing project that's been hanging around, a heaviness will lift from their client's shoulders. They say it's almost visible to see the change that happens to them. I think that's pretty cool. Just the fact that what you committed to doing could change your outlook for the better. Your mind set a deadline, and now your spirit is waiting for completion. Okay, if you know me, you know I am all about cleaning stuff up and out from the attic, the garage, the closet, the office. In fact, last weekend, I hired my amazing nephew to haul things out of the attic because they got full again. Why? Because when you and I are not weighed down with stuff or junk or dirt or just a mess, we will create space for something new, better, brighter, cleaner. But that's not going to happen until you get to work. And for many listening, I hate to say it, you're going to be doing the work by yourself, but that's okay, because it's about progress and moving you to a better place to move you in the direction of your dreams. A while back, a friend came by my house and he was looking around, and finally he said to me, "Hey, Deb, where's all your stuff?" I told him, "Everything you see is all I have. I don't have stuff lying around because that causes clutter, and my working brain cannot deal with that. I don't know, it must be OCD or whatever else I've got. It's strange, but sometimes I can't get a big thing done until I've cleared out the little things. Now, I have to be careful that I don't spend all my time on little things and not get to the real work at hand that needs to get done. But over the years, I have to tell you, I have realized that I need to learn how to handle things on my own, because people aren't always going to be there for me, and the same's true for you. All right, so now you've made your Saturday list to get going and to get things done, and you're working down your list to success. Now let's move on, since the hard work's done, to what have you been dreaming about? They say when your mind wanders to the place of your desire, that's where your heart will go. So if you're thinking about painting the bedroom or buying a new car or going on vacation, friends, start planning, saving, researching now, because there's a great chance that others won't be there for you. So you need to figure out what you want and then move in the direction of your dreams and desires, even if you have to do it alone. I have to say, when I ask, "What is your dream?" what would you say to me? A while back, I did a show called Dreams Are Free. There's an artist that I read about who gives out lottery tickets. And if you'll write down for her what your dreams are on the form that she has for you to fill out, she said what is interesting is that many people didn't write down big, audacious things, but real things like pay for college, buy a house, go on vacation without worrying about the cost. All right, I don't want to sound negative today, but since most of you will be doing your hopes and dreams by yourself, I want to stress that some of you need to stop waiting for others to make you happy when you need to be strong enough to make the decision that would bring you joy. And listen, it's my hope that friends and family will come alongside and enjoy the ride with you. But if not, please stop sitting around waiting. And goodness, don't sit around moaning and groaning, because that will get you nowhere. It will irritate your friends. So just get ready to go on your own. When I travel overseas, I will take an extra day or 2 or 6 to sightsee with a guide or by myself. I can tell you, for that 6-hour trip a day with strangers, well, we become all friends. Just sightseeing together, helping each other with photos or walking up to a castle. Now listen, these aren't my friends for life. They're my tour bus stranger friends. But I choose to go instead of sitting in my hotel room, missing the sights and sounds and history of a place. And you can do the same, no matter where you are. Here's the point. Don't let life pass you by because your people aren't there for you at this time. I think I have a lot of life that I've lived, and I've come to learn a few things. One thing I know is when you accept that you need to learn to handle things on your own, friends, you will grow strong and learn to have the faith in your ability. And without a doubt, I know you'll experience a sense of freedom, of space, time, and place. And who knows, you might just fulfill your lifelong dream to go see the Grand Canyon or a Broadway show in New York City or have your photo taken at the Eiffel Tower in Paris. Listen, better to go alone than not at all. So, whether it's finishing your list of projects to do around the house or the office, or if you're going to sit here today and dream about that long-standing dream, starting to work on it so it comes true, here's what I know. I'm proud of you for getting going in your amazing life. And for those of you who aren't quite ready, well, let's make a plan so you can work the plan for your future. There's a lot of ways you can start. I encourage you to make a vision board. What do I mean by that is just put up some photos of places you want to go and see or become. You know, it's so much easier to plan when you can see an intended outcome. Without a plan in place, some of you are just talking about a pipe dream. So that's why I think it's important that some use a vision board. And if you're not comfortable sharing your dreams right now, put your board on the inside of your clothes closet. So every day when you open that door, you'll be reminded of where you're going one day. And then go online, set the alert for airfare or ticket discount or whatever you need to do to get the job done, and keep a list of pricing so you get a true sense of the cost. And then, see, that's when you start setting aside a little bit of money weekly to accomplish your dream. Now, friend, even if you have to start small, over time, with your work and vision, it very well may come true. I think that would be great. Because unfortunately, people aren't always going to be there for you. But here's the good news. Once you learn to handle things on your own, there's nothing that can stop you. I'm Deb Sofield. This is Encouragement for Your Life. Friends, let's get going. You've got a lot of life left to live. Let's make use of every minute that we have. Stay tuned. I'm going to take a quick break and I'll come right back with some ways that you can learn to handle things on your own. Hi friends, Deb Sofield here. I'm a national speaker and an executive speech and presentations coach. I've been in the battlefield of politics and business for over 30 years. I know and understand how the game works. In today's marketplace, you don't have a choice. We're in the media age of Twitter, blogs, Facebook, and 24-hour news cycles. Either you move quickly and decisively to define your product, your company, or yourself, or others will define you. You can't afford to miss the mark because the public won't give you a second chance and the media is unforgiving, and YouTube will replay your remarks until you've been ground into dust. Whether it's crafting your message to protect you or your company, or putting you on camera to answer the questions that will resonate with reporters and the public, or preparing you for an interview, let me help you be successful. I'm Deb Sofield. Find me online at debsofield.com. That's debsofield.com. Hey everybody, welcome back. So I know it's a little unusual for a theme when somebody comes on a radio and says, hey, people aren't going to be there for you. That's why you need to learn to handle things on your own. But listen, I gotta tell you, sometimes, because I'm out speaking so much, my alone time is what I need to recharge. I came across a really good article on Bustle.com by Marlene Komar and Lexi Inks. It's called Ways to Get More Comfortable Doing Things Solo. So I want to go through this a little bit and we'll talk about it. They say there's a stigma when it comes to doing things alone. You might be nervous. People might think you are friendless if you go to a coffee shop by yourself, or you're some crazy cat lady if you take a solo trip across state lines. Of course, stepping out without your squad of friends doesn't mean your friends don't exist to begin with. It just means you're comfortable enough with your own thoughts and company to be happy alone. Sometimes it's easier said than done. While some people are completely content with the company of a book or the activity of people watching, some people are thrown in a panic attack over the prospect of spending an evening alone in public. Or maybe you're happy to sit in a movie theater solo, but the thought of doing something more active by yourself, like taking a surf lesson, it's bound to make you a little nervous. So, if you're already getting nervous thinking about doing these kind of things as a party of one, here's a few tips for you. And listen, these are some easy things on how to be more comfortable being alone, and that will help you appreciate those liberating days without company. Because friends, sometimes you're going to have to do things alone. All right, number one, I do love this. Remember, nobody really cares you're alone. See, one of the main reasons people feel weird about doing things alone is because they think everyone within a 5-mile radius is judging them. Ding, 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 false, false, false news. Even if someone notices you, they're probably not thinking about your lack of a friend. Sure, there's a little stigma about being alone, but 9 times out of 10, most people aren't going to give it an inch of a thought. Number 2, you can always leave. Listen, just because you committed to going to an event by yourself doesn't mean you have to stick it out the whole way through. All right, so you've been invited to a party alone, and you start to feel nervous about an hour into it just because you haven't found anybody to talk to. No one says you have to sit there all night long or hover outside of a conversation circle. You can just take your coat and leave when you feel like it's too much. And the same thing goes for other situations. Did you feel bored by perusing a museum by yourself or feel a little funny at a friend of a friend's birthday party? Hey, gently leave. No one's stopping you, and don't feel bad about it. I love point number 3. Forgive yourself for feeling weird about it. Listen, despite our best efforts, it can be tough being alone sometimes. Lane Moore, author of How to Be Alone If You Want to, and Even If You Don't, says, it's completely okay to wish you weren't alone or to feel awkward because you're doing something alone. Some of us do things alone because we want to. Some of us do things alone because we have to. Both are completely valid, as are your feelings about it even, and even if it doesn't always feel positive. So friend, if you find yourself feeling awkward or uncomfortable being out and about solo, just allow yourself to feel those feelings. It's human nature to want to connect and have company sometimes. So what you're feeling is valid, that's okay. But learning to work through your feelings on your own can not only help you get better at coping with feelings of loneliness, it can also be a way to empower yourself. Deciding to step out and do things you want to do, even when you'd rather not do them alone, that's pretty amazing of you. All right, number 4, I love this one. You're allowed to cheat. What is the first thing most of us reach for when we're uncomfortable? Right, our phones. What a great distraction tool from nervously glancing around a room. A book. How can you keep your mind occupied and off the fact you have no one to talk to? Friend, do a crossword puzzle. Listen, there's no shame in distracting yourself in the beginning until you get comfortable with the idea of just sitting there and people watching or hanging out with your own thoughts. Number 5 is pick something to focus on. Say you're going to lunch alone. Sure, you can distract yourself with a book or text your friend all about the chicken sandwich you're eating, or you can take it as a chance to stop and think. If you head outside with a game plan of what to think about, you'll feel more confident and productive sitting in one place alone. All right, so maybe you want to go on a trip this year, whether big or small. Maybe you want to think about a career move or set some personal character trait goal for yourself. Find a topic to dissect in your head, and then you give yourself that hour or 2 to kind of work through it step by step. And in the end, you won't notice you had a 3-course meal alone, and you'll feel like you got something accomplished. Listen, there's advantages to going solo. We are so used to being in crowds and surrounding ourselves with friends that we don't really question what is the downside of having company. Listen, if you want to teach yourself to do things on your own, listing the benefits of going solo during these activities could be motivation enough to go through with it. For example, one benefit is that you can do exactly what you want to do without somebody telling you. You don't have to consult with anyone or check in on anyone's feelings but your own. Hey, if you want to eat that whole Krispy Kreme donut instead of going to dinner, go for it. If you want to spend 5 hours shopping in the sale section, the afternoon is yours. There's advantages of going solo. Point number 7 is you ought to do things you're excited about. Say you're listening to all my ideas and you're saying to yourself, Deb, I am still not convinced. You just can't imagine sitting somewhere alone, your nose buried in a phone or a book as you pretend you're not inside out uncomfortable. Okay, so to motivate you to leave the house, go do something you're excited about. Maybe there's a movie you've been waiting to see, or maybe there's a new exhibit at the museum you wanted to go and see. Or maybe there's an artist whose artwork is actually having a show at an outside event space, a local landmark you've wanted to visit. Listen, if you get excited enough, you don't have room to feel weird about the fact you're doing it on your own. Listen, sometimes my best thinking time is when I wander a farmer's market or a garden center. Just the fact that I can make the decisions of what I want for my home, yeah, it's a little bit liberating. And number 8 is great. Occupy yourself with an activity. See, if you preoccupy yourself with an activity, you're not going to have time to notice that you're feeling a little uncomfortable. Friend, go to a concert, pick up a book, buy tickets to a play, go play mini golf, take a cycling class, go take an art class, whatever it is. If there's an activity that preoccupies your mind, you don't have time to realize you're doing it alone, and you'll have a good time on your own. All right, number 9. Remember, being alone, well, it's actually pretty cool. Now, granted, there's a definite stigma sometimes when people see you doing things alone. But there's also the other side of the coin, which nobody talks about. When you do things alone, people realize that you are doing things by yourself, so you must be a brave person. Anyone who sees you doing that thinks, wow, they can do it on their own. Friend, if you're feeling self-conscious about doing things alone, remember, it takes a lot of independence and confidence to do so. If anything, it's probably more admirable to others who see you living your life on your own terms and in your own company. Listen, your relationship with yourself is probably the most important and longest one you will ever have. So friend, don't lose sight of the fact that by mindfully cultivating happiness being alone, you're doing something really good for yourself. I like that article. Listen, I know it's not easy. I travel a lot. I travel alone a lot. But I end up in countries, I meet new people, and I have all these experiences. Maybe that's just who I am. But I'm always surprised when people would rather hide than go put themselves out there. Listen, there's a lot of great people who would love to meet you if they could ever find you. All right, so just some ideas, because I know some people say to me, oh, I don't know how you do it alone all the time. Oh, you get used to it. And then you find ways to make it fun. But again, it's not easy. It takes time. And for those of you who perhaps have lost a loved one recently, it's hard to get back out there. But really, what choice do you have? Because they don't want you living alone and sad. They want you to go on. You know it. I know it. Everybody knows it. I'll just say it out loud. You've got to stop with the sad sack life. People want to see you happy. And by the way, when you're happy, they're happy. All right, I found another article called 50 Tricks to Get Things Done Faster, Better, and More Easily. But we don't have 50 minutes. So here we go. I want to talk about a few of these things in this article by Dustin Wax I found in Lifehack. He says this: you need to do your MIT's most important task at the start of each day or the night before. Highlight the things you got to do. Get them done first. His next point is big rocks. The big projects you're working on at any given moment, you need to set aside time every day or every week to move that rock forward. All right, this is hard for me. Some of you, like me, need to wake up a little earlier. Add that extra hour to your day by just getting up a little earlier before everyone else imposes on your time. One in, one out. Avoid clutter by adopting a replacement-only standard. Every time you buy something new, you gotta toss something out or donate it. And probably the next one's actually might be the most important. Some of you need to get more sleep. Sleep's essential to health and learning and awareness. Research says the body goes through a sleep cycle in 90 minutes. So napping for less than that doesn't have the same effect a real sleep does, although you do feel better. Try to get 8 hours if you can. I know that's a luxury for some of you listening, but if you can, let's do it. People ask me all the time, hey, Deb, what's the secret to success? And I say the secret is there is no secret. You've just got to do what you can, but you need to make a plan so you have something to follow. His other point here, some of you just need to slow down. Make time for yourself. Eat slowly. Have a lazy weekend. Take time to do things right instead of doing things again. I like the next one. Don't break the chain. Some of you should use a calendar to track your daily goals. Whether it's working out, whether it's writing an article, don't break the chain. That chain will hold you in good times and bad. And probably the last one I'm going to leave you with is this. Our friend, do it now. Fight procrastination by adopting a do it now attitude. Listen, if you get it done, then it's done. And then you can keep moving forward. All right, I know today's a different topic. I know it's a little bit out there, but friends, people aren't always going to be there for you. I want you to learn to handle things on your own because you are smart, you are wise, you are blessed, you have opportunities if you'll just take them. And I want to cheer you on to the very end. I'm Deb Sofield. This is Encouragement for Your Life. Join me next week, same time, same place. Have a good one, everybody.